Has God ever healed you before?
He has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen healing, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. I think probably more on an emotional level.
I've experienced healing from emotional challenges and traumas in the past, for sure.
Pre-Christ, and even after my salvation, I've struggled with addiction, and the Lord just delivered me from that, showed me that alone I would have never been able to get through it, but with Him, there was healing and there was hope.
In 2020, right at the height of COVID, the Tuesday before Harris County shut down, I got diagnosed with a brain tumor. And so I had brain surgery in June of 2020, and my brain surgeon was one of the best we have. And he came out to my mom, and he told her, I think it's precancerous, and you'll be lucky for maybe 10 years. And he walked away. And he's held thousands of brain tumors. He's seen thousands of them before, and so we believed what he said. We were praying that people would ask the Lord to be a DNET instead of a stage whatever he thought it was. And 12 days after my surgery, we went in to get the 37 stitches and the 1 staple removed and to get the pathology report, and it came back that it was a DNET. And our neurosurgeon looked at us and was like, I don't understand how this happened. I've held these before. I thought this was precancerous, but I guess a miracle happened.
I saw a person who was on their deathbed come to life through just simple prayer. Saw that person go continue on 15 more years in ministry.
Being able to have 4 children, I have a blood clotting disorder and a variety of other issues that should not have allowed me to have those children. I have 4 babies in heaven because it took some different medicine and different doctors to figure that out. After I lost 4 babies, they couldn't figure out what was going on, and so they put me on a blood thinner, and they put me on a series of other medication that was supposed to cause low birth weight, and there were just some risk involved, but we wanted to preserve life. And so my first child, after that medicine came out, they were worried about low birth weight, and she came out over 9 pounds and 21 inches, and it was like God's glory on full display. Like, don't worry about it. I've got it.
My father developed Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and everybody around here knows his story. He started progressing in the illness. He was in a focus group. We watched him decline, and many people around here were praying for him. ALS is a disease that continues to get worse and worse. You don't recover. There's no medications. And one day, my dad's doctor said, we want to run another round of tests on you. And they did, and he didn't have ALS anymore. And so that was 10 years ago. He should have died a decade ago. And I tell people every day, I'm living with a miracle every day.
My childhood was wonderful in the sense that the Lord saw me through, but was full of a lot of things, a lot of things. That Romans 5 of, I rejoice in these sufferings because I know it brings about perseverance, it improves my character, it's rooted in hope, and that hope never fails. He's healed me from those things, and I think because of that, it's this sense of, like David says, I have a new song to sing.
During high school, I struggled with depression a lot. And to the point where it was like, I have suicidal thoughts and just like a lot of hopelessness about the future. And I remember actually a minister praying for me that I would be like healed from depression. And I do clearly remember like a moment of like feeling different. And after that, I didn't deal with it in the same way at all. So I really do believe that God, through God's power and His grace, like He was able to like help me not deal with depression in that same, there are still times I get depressed, but it was like, it wasn't as chronic or as like overwhelming as it was before.
I questioned miracles because of my dad passing. I was in my faith in the time my dad passed. I was praying every day. I read my Bible every day. Even before he got in the hospital, I was like, all right, it's all right. Like, I got him. He'll be good. We would pray for him. Once he got to a point where he was actually really, really sick, I still didn't worry as much, but just the thought of him passing away started creeping in. And I started praying heavily, like God, you're a miraculous God. You can do anything. I believe in you. I'm praying for His will, but I'm also praying that my dad stay here with me. When he passed, the question of miracles was just, it was like, all right, why didn't it happen? God changed my perspective. And It was more about the miracle that my dad was brought back to him. And that it hurt a little bit because, I was losing my best friend, but to know that he was with his creator, his father, he healed my dad completely. Like, not from the earthly perspective, but from a heavenly perspective. And he's living free of any pain, any hurt. He's living free from sin, and he's living in the joy of the Lord.
Our God is all powerful. And if it's his will and he chooses to, he can suspend natural law and change our realities. Most of the time, I think he chooses not to do that. And that's a very common question in my world. Why would a good, loving God, allow disability? But in Mark chapter 9, verse 3, it makes very clear that God's purpose in disability is that we would bring glory to him and his kingdom. And so having a lifelong disability in your family is a testimony to God's grace and goodness when we faithfully walk with him. And that's a message to everybody that we come across.
Healing spiritually is always the one. I think we put physical, again, idols, and physical health is something that's short-term, but spiritual healing is forever. So I think it's a priority having spiritual healing first.
He definitely is the source of healing, and he has the capacity to heal and to bind up our wounds, as it says in Scripture.
He's healed me in a lot of ways, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of those things, and grateful for it. Very grateful for it.